volleyball program. Coach Coy is here to my right. She's got a couple of student athletes here to talk with you today. Again, I'm not going to get too much into their background, biography. I'll let them talk about themselves as they go through the process today. Please help me give them a big Blue Jay welcome this morning to our friends from UWSP.
We're super excited to be here today. I'm the head volleyball coach. I'm Coach Lindsay Coy. I was actually hired just this past December, right before Christmas, as the actual full-time head coach. I was an interim coach this past fall season, and I'm super pumped I got the full-time job. So I'm here, want to be here for a while. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll have these two outstanding ladies talk to you a little bit about their self. I'm excited to talk with you today kind of about what I look for in a recruit, kind of the recruiting process. First, I want to ask how many of you are interested in playing a sport in college? Raise your hand nice and high. Okay, that's great. That's great. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the recruiting process. I'll talk to you a little bit about my philosophy and what I really look for in a recruit. I'm excited to announce Kelsey and Megan are coming to our program next year. So I'll be calling them guys. I'll kind of go through my expectations as a coach. We do a lot of different really cool, we have sayings in our gym. We do a lot of different external motivation pieces. Talk to you about our rules in our program. I'll talk to you about leadership. We have currently 3 captains in our program. I'll talk to you about how we vote for captains, what I expect of our captains, and then obviously, hopefully throughout this process, you guys have questions, and I'm excited to bring these 2 ladies along to talk to you about their living through our program. A little bit about me. I'm from actually Illinois. I'm from a small town called Minooka, Illinois. It's about an hour southwest of Chicago. So I'm about 4 hours from home. I grew up, I actually went and played Division II volleyball as a setter. For those of you who know what a setting position is in volleyball. Had a great experience. Got my undergrad degree in physical education, so I actually taught high school PE for 2 years right out of college. So I was teaching kids. I was 22 years old teaching 18-year-olds, so that was interesting. And then I coached high school volleyball for 2 years back in Illinois. I wanted to pursue college coaching. I just felt like, gosh, is teaching really my lifelong career? And I couldn't be enthusiastic about answering that question. So I was fortunate enough to be the assistant coach at UW-Stevens Point under the previous head coach. We made it to the NCAA tournament, won second in our conference. After that, I was a full-time assistant coach back in Illinois. If those of you have heard of Millikan University, it's in Central Illinois. We won our conference there, made it to the NCAA tournament. A year ago, probably right around this week, I was the interim coach at UW-Stevens Point. So I've been jumping around a lot in my career, have a lot of experience in a short amount of time. But I'm excited to continue to share my passion for our program with you guys, and I hope you can take away a lot of information from us. But ladies, I'll have you tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Emma. I am a DS Libero for the Stevens Point volleyball team. I am also on the track team at Point. I pole vault. My major, I'm a psychology major with a minor in criminal justice, and I'm a freshman. I'm from Bloomington, Minnesota, so you guys probably don't know where that is, but it's like 10 minutes from the Mall of America. So I'm in like the city. I'm a city girl.
Major?
Yeah, psychology major.
Okay.
Minor in criminal justice.
I'm Megan Lau. I'm a freshman outside right side hitter. I'm a double major in business administration and management. I'm from Hobart, Wisconsin. I'm sure none of you have heard of that before. There's like 120 kids in my entire school, so like 25 kids in my class.
These ladies are both freshmen, so they have gone through one season with us, and they're actually going to start their first full, we have a spring season coming up. So they are still very new to our program, but again, I'm excited to have them here. How many of you guys, if you had a guess right now, know exactly what you need to do? Those of you that raise your hand for playing sport in college know exactly what you need to do for recruiting and how to find a place for a school. Okay, awesome. So this is a perfect opportunity for that. So I'll have the ladies chime in a little bit on what they did in their recruiting process, and like I said, I'm going to talk about things that I look for as a coach for recruits. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, it was going around last night, and I shared it with you ladies last night. There's a NCAA spreadsheet that was on Twitter last night that I found, and it's a very statistics about how many high school kids actually go on to play college sports. It is like extremely low. I think for volleyball, Division III volleyball athletes are 1.6% of student athletes that come on from high school to play Division III volleyball, for example. So it's a very, very small number. So that goes to show you it takes the elite of the elite to be a college player in any sport. So a couple things that I look for when I go out recruiting, for example, and Kelsey and Megan can kind of chime in if you guys have anything to add to that. Coaches look for not only are you talented enough in your sport, right? We want to see who can jump high in volleyball. We want to see who is quick movements. You know, we don't need to run 2 miles in volleyball. Who can laterally move, who can move vertically quick. Okay, we look for, again, can they do all-around volleyball skills? Again, this is volleyball specific. Pass, serve, play defense, hit, set. Because in the game of volleyball, if you guys know, you have to do everything. So that's a big piece. Obviously, you have to have the talent level. The piece that a lot of student athletes your age forget to focus on, coaches look for the intangible skills. Who knows what I'm talking about when I say intangible? Intangible skills. Ready? Okay. Can you give me an example?
Leadership.
Okay. Who else? What's an intangible skill you think besides leadership? That's a good one. Megan?
What kind of teammate you are?
Okay. How good of a teammate you are. What else? What else do you think coaches look for? Yes.
Respect.
Great. Huge word. Yep. What else? Yep.
Work ethic.
Yep. Work ethic. What else? You guys hit it right on the head. So I look for how good is this person, how high of a character is this person I'm trying to recruit. I look for, okay, if you're not playing in your high school game, if you play travel sport, if you play club, maybe you're not playing that day when I come and watch you play. How are you interacting on the bench? Are you sitting pouting? Do you have a negative body language face? You're just really mad that you're not on the court? Are you opposite of that? Are you standing up? Are you cheering? If you're sitting, are you cheering? Are you giving a high five for the people that come in and out of the game? Are you listening to your coach in timeouts? You know, when everybody comes into the huddle, are you know, these two are in the huddle and I may be in the huddle, but I'm looking in the stands, oh, hey, Mom. You know, are you doing that? Are you, if you have a job, we take stats on our bench, so everybody's got a clipboard, almost everybody. And are you doing stats on the bench because you are engaged in that game? Even though you're not playing, are you still engaged and willing to be a good teammate on the bench? I look for that a ton. When you go into the game, if a coach is getting on you, are you looking at them saying, okay, coach, got it? Or are you, coach is getting on you, okay, coach, got it. I'm not giving them eye contact. Okay, if a coach is pulling you aside, are you looking on the ground? Got it, coach, okay. Or are you looking them in the eye, making eye contact? During play, whatever sport you play, are you working extremely hard? Do you have the work ethic? You know, for volleyball, if a ball is flying way outside the court, is that person hustling their butt off? Maybe you need to dive in the stands to save a ball. Or in basketball, are you jumping out of bounds to save that basketball to get back in bounds? Are you doing the extra work? Okay? I look for, and every sport is different, but in volleyball, we have time to come in together after each play. How many of you guys have actually watched the volleyball game? I hope a lot. Or your volleyball team is pretty good, right? You guys are good. You come into the huddle with your team. You know, if you play basketball, same thing. Is everybody into the huddle, eye contact, physical contact, or are you the person, these guys are in the huddle? No. Red flag. Okay? If a coach is talking to you, giving you feedback, are you rolling your eyes at the coach? Another big one that many recruits don't think about, a lot of coaches look for, does a recruit pick up their water bottle at a volleyball game, any kind of game, and it's empty and they give it to a parent? A lot of coaches actually see that as a negative thing. They'll say, you need to go get your own water. And that's something I look for too. Is a player being lazy Mom, can you go fill up my water bottle? No, as a coach, I want to see you go get your own water. Now, obviously, if you're dehydrated and need water, sure, your parents got to go get that for you. But I want to see, what are you doing extra to stand out to a coach? What makes you different from everybody else that you're going to stand out to be the 1% that play college sports? Because you guys know, whatever sport you play, there are tons and thousands of kids that play your sport. And I'm picking maybe 4 or 5 each class to come for our program. What makes you part of that 4 or 5? What makes you part of the 20 for a football recruit class? What makes you 5 or 6 for a basketball class? So I'm looking for those intangible skills, probably, in my opinion, over talent. You'll hear a lot of coaches talk about, I'm going to take a kid that has high character, maybe needs a little skill work, but I'm going to take that person over a person who is extremely talented and doesn't think they have to work hard because they got it all in the bag. I would rather take a player like that. Ladies, do you have anything to add? Talk about your recruiting process a little bit. Like you did.
Yeah, so coming from a big town back home in Minnesota, I live by a bunch of really, really big club volleyball teams, super competitive. I played with multiple Division I athletes, Division II athletes, and I'm a Division III athlete. So I worked with an NCAA recruiter to help make my video. I had 2 different videos set up of all of my, just kind of my highlight videos to send out to coaches. A big thing with recruiting is you have to email the coaches first. They're not going to pick you out of the group. They're not going to email you and say, oh, I want you. If you want to go to school there, you have to email them and reach out to them and tell them you want to play for them and hope that they'll look at you. Being recruited for 2 sports, I had a video for volleyball, and once I found out I could play volleyball at Stevens Point, then I contacted the track coach because I wanted to do track too. And it's a similar recruiting process for both sports. So for any sport, it's pretty similar. But definitely have a video, reach out to coaches. Don't be afraid for a coach to tell you no. You will probably be told no by coaches, and don't let that get you down because there will be a school that does want you, that you'll want to go to school for there.
My process was a little bit different than hers. Coming from the school I did, there wasn't clubs around me, so I only played club competitively for 1 year, and that was my junior year. So my high school coach helped me a lot. She helped me figure out what schools I wanted to email first off, and then she helped me make a video. But honestly, I was committed before I had my video made. So I was actually recruited by Coach Abby. So my video was basically only to sign the Coach Lindsay went to see how I played because she had not known me. So it was all about pretty much emailing who I thought I wanted to play for, and my high school coach helping me.
And the other advice I have to say is, Emma said it best. You have to think, okay, I cannot think a coach is going to come and find me. Like I said, there are thousands of kids that play your sport. You have to email the coaches. You know, you can't sit and wait around your junior year, now come your senior year, oh, I haven't heard from any coaches. I don't know if I'm good enough. You have to go out and do the work. And it's a lot of work, especially if you really want to be that 1%. What are you going to do to stand out? And I look for kids who send me an email about who they are as a person. Also a big thing that I haven't talked about yet, and I will get into, and we will get into, academics. I can't hammer that enough in how important it is to be a good student to play in college, or to be a good student in general in your life, whether you want to play in college or not. I look for, how are their class grades? How is their GPA? How is their ACT, SAT score? How is their class rank? Besides that, what else are they doing to be involved in school? Are you joining a club? Are you doing community service? Are you in National Honor Society? What different things besides, oh, I'm just a volleyball player, I go to school, that's it. I want to see how involved you are, because by being involved in high school is going to help you time management skills in college. Because especially you play a college sport, your time management skill has to be crucial, and you have to be very, very organized, because it's a lot busier of a schedule, I would say, as a college athlete. And so, since I was a teacher, my background is education, both of my parents are educators. I put education first and foremost in our program. I put that even before volleyball. And I think if you ask a lot of coaches, they would say the same thing. So a couple of our rules for class. We talk about this right at the beginning of our season in August. You have to go to class. We miss enough class for volleyball. We have to leave sometimes at 1 p.m. during the day to go to Eau Claire to play. You're going to miss class because we got to get on the bus. You cannot miss class at all. That is a requirement. You pay for your education in college. It's a privilege to go to college. Not many people get a chance to do that. Go to class. You're getting an education. Okay? Another thing we talk about, we have to, in our program, sit in the first 2 rows of every class period. Why do you think that is? Why do you think I have that rule? Yeah?
So you're looking, like, people will see you engaged in class and you're working.
Bingo, great answer. Yes. If you're sitting in the back of class, you're probably more likely to fiddle around on your phone. If you got a laptop on, go on Facebook, whatever you guys do. First 2 rows, a professor is going to see you are attentive, you are engaged, you're making eye contact with your professor. You are showing them that you really want to learn that day. So that's a rule we have. We strive every semester as a team to get over a 3.3 team average GPA. This past fall, we were actually very, very close, 3.27. So we're really trying to get to a 3.3 GPA. And we talk about everything you do as an individual positively or negatively affects our program. So if Emma decides one day she's not going to go to class, yes, that affects her grade, herself, but her actions are also affecting Megan. And her actions are also affecting Susie on our team. Her actions are also affecting April on our team, and so forth. So everything you do now, when you commit to being a high-level college athlete, you have to remember you're not only influencing yourself, you're influencing the team. And so by Emma not going to class, maybe not doing her homework, not studying for a test, that negatively affects what we're trying to do, right, is get a 3.3 GPA. And so you got to remember you're signing up for something that's greater than yourself. It's not about you anymore. Now, obviously, I know different individual sports are different, tennis, golf, track, but you're still signing up to be part of something that's bigger than yourself. And we always put the expectation of going to school, going to class, sit in the first 2 rows, be attentive. Another thing we talk about is you're on your own in college, right? You don't have parents, hey, get up, you got to go to school. Hey, how much homework do you have tonight? Hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Hopefully your parents are involved in your education. College, you're on your own, right? You have the freedom to decide, maybe I don't want to go to class today, or you know what, I'm going to do that homework later, or I can study for that test tomorrow, right? And so we talk about you have to be very organized and responsible on your own. And so I'm a very organized person as a coach. I have our full schedule on a calendar, and I tell you guys exactly when the bus leaves, when we're going to get home, what time practices, home game, away game. I've got it all August through November on a calendar. We talk about it's their responsibility to go into their professor's office or right after class, introduce themselves. Hey, I'm Lindsay, I'm a volleyball player. This is our schedule. Maybe I highlighted the days I'm going to be missing class. Hey, can we set up a time to go to your office and sit down and talk about how I can make up that work? You have to do that as a volleyball player. Okay? If you decide to email a professor the night before, hello, Professor Coy, I'm not going to be in class tomorrow. We have an away game. Do you think the professor is going to work with you?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're probably going to get a 0 for attendance that day. Maybe if you missed a quiz or exam, they're probably going to say, no, you can't make it up. So we talk about as a college athlete, you have to be organized, and you have to have a schedule and a plan, and you have to have great time management skills, because again, we miss a lot of classes. How many classes do you guys think on average you missed?
I think I missed 3 total.
Okay, that's not bad.
I was lucky because I didn't have classes on Friday. My schedule worked out where I had classes Monday through Thursday, and I had Fridays off, so I didn't miss a ton of school.
That's good.
So, sorry.
Good. No, that's good. That's good. So you have to communicate with your professor. If you do that, they're going to be willing to work with you more. But again, you have to be on your own. I'm not, as a coach, I don't have time to go through Emma's schedule. Emma, did you talk to your professor today? You missed class. I don't have time to do that. This is a responsibility piece for them to learn on their own how to communicate with the professor to make sure they're putting academics first and foremost. Because again, goal in mind is a 3.3 team average GPA. Do you guys have anything else to add about school? Talk about your time management, maybe some study tips and stuff. What do you do?
We actually have study tables as freshmen where 2 hours every week we get together and we study together.
Required with the coach supervising us. Time management is huge, definitely, especially for me playing 2 sports. It has definitely been a struggle because I get no off time. I go to classes from 9 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I practice from 3 to 6, and at night I have to get my homework done. So time management. If you don't have good time management, you're in for some problems. Like a big thing is with time management is you can't save your projects, your assignments for the day before they're due, and then call coach and go, yeah, I can't come to practice. I have this assignment due when you had all week to do it, but you saved it for the last day. Like you can't miss practice for reasons like that. So time management is huge. Get everything done so you're not stressed, because when you're stressed in college, everything goes downhill.
That's why getting involved in high school really helps, because in high school I was in volleyball, basketball, track. I was the stage manager for musicals. I did forensics. I did all this stuff. And now in college, I'm a student and I'm a volleyball player. I chose not to do track, but it made it so much easier for me knowing like I had practiced for 4 years in high school doing all this stuff, and now I can focus on academics and volleyball.
I've been able to do, now in college I've been able to do volleyball, track, school, and I just recently joined a Student Law Enforcement Association group. And so you can still be a student athlete and join other organizations. It all just comes down to working with your schedule. Talking to your advisors, talking to your professors, but it's doable.
Talk about you guys like going to a professor's office for help. How about that?
Yeah. So in college, if you get behind, you're a lot of times, especially your freshman year, your classes are big. You're in a class of, depending on what college you go to, 300 kids. So your professor's not going to individually get to know you personally like your high school teachers do. You need to go in and introduce yourself. If you need help, they're not going to be there to sit and pat your back and go, okay, let's go over this. You have to go in and ask them for help and sit down and learn. And because a lot of stuff you won't understand in college, but they go fast and you don't have time to sit and relearn stuff. So I've had to go into my psychology professors multiple times just to re-go over topics because I didn't understand them. And a lot of my gen eds have been hard for me, which are like, they're similar to like high school courses, the gen eds. So like, I'm in like a women and development class, so it has nothing to do with my major or my minor. So it seems like it's stupid, like I shouldn't be taking it, but you have to take your gen eds. But a lot of those are the harder ones too.
They want you to come to them because they want you to show that you care. And if you go to them, it shows that you care about their class, you care about your grade, you're not just there to be there like maybe some people are. They want help.
Yep. My assistant coach, I'm excited, I just hired a new assistant, but my assistant, as a coach, if you decide to play college sports, coaches are there to help you, right? And the common theme that these ladies are talking about is they, as individuals, are seeking out help. We talk a lot about that. You have to, again, like I told you guys, you're on your own in college. You have to go and find help. It's not just going to come to you and you can't just sit and say, oh, I feel sorry for myself. I'm really struggling in class. No, you got to get your butt and go and talk to a professor in their class office hours, after class. There's a lot of tutoring sessions for our harder classes at Stevens Point. There is help. You just have to go and ask for it. And that's an expectation I'm going to get into that I have for our team. Ask questions. Don't assume anything. You have to go and ask and be an advocate for yourself to get help.
You're not bugging them. They want you to come in. Like, no matter how many times you come in, you won't bother them. I go into my chemistry class all the time, and my professor, knows me by name now, which a lot of professors don't, but it's because I come and bug him all the time because I don't get this, go over this with me. And so he'll teach me, and so now he knows who I am.
One more thing I'm really passionate I want to talk about, and then I'll talk about leadership and expectations. How many of you guys have heard like, oh, Division III, it's not as great as Division II and Division I. Division III is maybe not as great of sports. It doesn't really matter. How many of you guys have heard just of a bad mantra on Division III? Okay, probably a lot of you guys, yeah. False. We're living it. I played Division II, and I've been coaching Division III for many years now, and I actually like Division III a lot better. Why do you think that is? Curious to get your thoughts. What have we heard positive about Division III? Anybody? Yeah,
It's less like a business, so to speak, because
Sure.
there's no scholarship money.
sure. Mhm. What else? Have we learned? Yeah,
Probably have a higher tendency to have your more hard-nosed, hardworking kids coming to the D3 schools because they have a chip on their shoulder already.
yeah. Some kids. Any other positives we heard? Well, I'll tell you this, as we're talking about academics and as you sit here, hopefully you're thinking about some things you really want as you're planning your future. Division III gives you a balance. I feel like that's the mantra word in Division III, balance. So in my opinion, these student athletes are getting the best of both worlds. They're getting the best in their sport, they're getting the best in their academics, and they're able to do both. Like for example, Emma said she's able to join a club because she has time to join a club. I know you're very busy with 2 sports, but she's making a commitment to do that because it's not all year round sports. So in Division I and Division II, you know, people might say, oh, I feel like it's just a job because I'm playing it all year round. Whereas Division III, yes, we're really busy in the fall for our season. We get a couple weeks off. These ladies are lifting right now. And then we go just 5 weeks in the spring. So they have the time to really do what they're supposed to do. You know, you guys sign up to go to college. Hopefully you all have the privilege to do that. First and foremost, you're there to graduate and to get a job. You're there for an education. And these ladies have the time to fully invest themselves to get a great education. If you want to join a club, you have time to do that. I encourage our ladies, if you want to ever study abroad, you have time to do that. You have time to do an internship where you feel like, oh, maybe Division I, Division II level, I got to add a 5th year. They don't have time to do it now to do an internship. You have that time to do all of those things. So as you guys sit here and you think about what you want in your future, if you really want to be academics first, Division III is the place to be, and I think that's a great place to be. And you'll find, kind of like you said, these athletes, I can't give them athletic scholarships. They are here and putting in hours and hours every day, every week for the pure love of the game, which I think is incredible. And they're working hard and they're playing the sport that they love at the Division III level. All right, I'll go now into our expectations, and I'll have the ladies talk about our gold mantra too. A couple of my expectations that I look for. So when you go through the recruiting process, I'm talking with you about the intangibles we talked about. Remember, I talked about team first, high character, work hard. Are you coming into the huddle? Are you being positive? Do you have positive body language? Are you listening to your coach? Are you being engaged on the bench? Those are all things they need to have right away. Now, when we come into our program, there's more expectations that I expect our players and our coaches need to live up to. Big one for me is work ethic, as I talked about already. You have to be working hard all of the time. I shouldn't have to coach you on that, especially being a college volleyball or college student athlete. Whatever you're doing, if you're in the weight room, if you're in class, if you're doing your homework, study hall, whatever, work ethic is big for me. Okay, I don't want to have a player come into my gym and jog to go pick up a ball. We're running to get water. We're running to shag our volleyballs. We're jumping into out of bounds to save a ball. All of those intangible skills. You should already have that. I don't want to have time, nor do I have time to coach work ethic. I focus on, are you a good teammate? Okay, we talked about that a little bit too. Are you being positive? And somebody said respect. Are you respecting the teammate sitting next to you? And it's like, if you're on a team sport, if any of you have been on a team sport, it's your family, right? These ladies are sisters. This is something you are joined into for 4 years, and the person next to you is your family. Are you respecting them? Now, obviously, sisters sometimes can be mean. You know, if anybody's had a sister, sometimes they can bicker. But at the end of the day, when we come into the gym, weight room, etc., play a game, there's that respect. Okay, being a positive teammate. To go along with that, positive body language. We talk a lot about, as you come in, and you guys can maybe chime in from this, you go from a senior in high school, probably you're a stud on your team, you play all the time, right? You're maybe not sitting the bench a ton. Then you come into college as a freshman, and you're kind of starting over as a freshman in high school again. Many freshmen, no matter what program it is, it's very hard to play as a freshman in college. extremely difficult to play. Now, every program is different, and these ladies were fortunate enough to get some starting time this year actually because they earned it. It's very difficult. And so student athletes come in thinking, oh, I'm the stud, going into college, I'm the stud, I'm playing Division III volleyball, Division I, Division II. This is going to be easy. It's really not the case because everybody around you is good. Okay? And it's really hard for you to play, so you go from being a role of a starter, probably, to a role of a completely different role. You guys want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, so for me coming from a pretty big school, I mean, as a senior, yeah, I was, the leader on my team. But coming into college, after having played with like Division I athletes throughout my conferences in high school, I wasn't expecting to play coming in my freshman year. I was expecting to sit the bench and just be a really good cheerleader and work hard at practice and help my teammates get better at practice. So for the first couple of games, I took stats and was having a blast taking stats. And I was lucky enough to actually start for most of the season and get a big role on the team. But I think it helped me having the mindset that I wouldn't get to play in college because then you don't come in expecting to play. So since I wasn't expecting to play, I think that forced me to work even harder. And so when I did get to play, I was terrified. But, I mean, my teammates all had my back, and I knew I had the spot for a reason, and they all trusted me, so.
It's a big mental challenge, just going from being the big player on your team to even like you said, we were all of us freshmen were expecting not to play because there was 19 people on our team and 6 people get to play. But it's just the fact that you think you might get 2 and it's like you're hoping, you're secretly hoping, but it's a whole different game because we were all the best players on our team. We were all very good in high school, but it puts it into perspective how hard your work ethic really is, how hard each practice is that you're playing. Like, are you giving it 110% to earn that spot? You never know when the opportunity could come, and for me it was when one of the starters got injured, I got to step in and play, and then after that I kind of like worked my way earning the spot on the team because of how I performed.
And you can't feel bad about yourself if you don't play. It's not like you're not good. You made a college team, you're good. It's just, but you have to do that for your team. You can't be upset and pissy because you're not playing. I mean, it's hard when you're not playing and when you think you should have the court and you could be doing really good things, but your coach knows what's best and they're doing what's best for the team.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And so that's another one of my expectations. We are a team sport. I understand individual sports are a little bit different than that, but are you coming in and are you putting the team first? If somebody comes in and starts complaining that, oh, I don't get playing time, I don't get this, I don't get that, that's complaining. And another one of my expectations is we do not complain, because when another teammate sees you complaining, how do you think they feel? Both of these guys aren't playing. It is a team sport. We put the overarching principle is we're here to win volleyball games. We're here to grow as people, students, and athletes. And we don't complain. Whatever your role is, you have to, I tell the team this all the time, you have to accept the role that you've been given, but continue to work and give 100% to grow into a different role. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned be on time. That's a huge one for me too. I spend hours and hours planning practices, whatever. We have to be, what is our rule for time?
If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yep. And they should be in the gym, warming up. You guys like to play queens just to get loose, get ready to go. I should walk in, we start practice at 3:30. I should walk in at 3:30, boom, we're getting going. If anybody is late, expectation, we have a consequence for that. And
One exception would be class. You have class till 3:15. She's not going to punish you for that. You just get your butt there after class. But school comes first. So.
Thank you.
You leave early for classes too if you need to. If you have class at 5, you don't leave at 4 o'clock to go to class. You leave at 4:50 to go to class.
You don't shower. No one cares if you smell in class. You go right from practice. You go to class.
I know we're close on time here. I want to pass this out to you guys. This is another, we talk about this a lot in individual meetings. This is what's called, if any of you guys have heard of Jeff Jansen's leadership manual, have anybody heard of that? If you haven't, I suggest, I hope that would be in your library maybe. That is a great book on leadership. And I actually kind of stole this from this book. This is our volleyball commitment continuum, and we talk about on our program, I'll ask these ladies, okay, where are you on your commitment level? How committed are you to being a better athlete, to being a better student, and to being a better person? Because those three pieces in our program, that's what we look for in a captain. Are you setting the example as a student? Are you setting the example socially as a person? Are you setting the example as an athlete? Those three pieces I talk a lot about on our team, and who really can fit those characteristics to be the elite level of a team captain. And so I'll sit down with these ladies and they will tell me, and they'll circle. It goes from being a resistant player, like I late to practice, I don't work hard, I complain, I'm selfish, all the way to being obsessed, which we don't want to be, which I have kind of quote unquote over the ledge, and that like you're focused solely on volleyball, you're not worried about school, you're so obsessed that you might injure yourself, you might get completely stressed and sick because you're so obsessed with volleyball. So I'm going to pass this out to show you guys. Just take a quick look at it here. And then again, it's an expectation that we all players, as you guys are looking through this, I'm going to go over there, you have to be above being compliant. We want players on our team to be committed or compelled. And something we do with this then with our captains, I meet weekly, maybe once a month with our captains, and we go through leadership training. We talk about, okay, if a player on our team is resistant, at the bottom level of the commitment continuum, how do we get them to be committed and compelled? And our captains go through steps. We'll sit down and have great conversations. Okay, Susie is resistant. We need her to be all in with the team and be committed. How can we help her with that? How many of you guys have been captains on your team? Leaders? And I'll say this, raise your hand too if you've been a leader in a club too, because I think that's just as important. Okay, what are some leadership qualities that you heard that are great in a leader? What have you heard? Kelsey?
Being positive.
Okay, positive. What else? Yep. I'm sorry? Yes, good one. Yes. Great. What else have we heard? Yes.
Integrity on and off the field or court.
Yep. One more. So you guys hit it right on the head. We look for captains, and everybody within a captain, so we have 3 on our team actually, and I'll have you guys talk about how we do captains.
We vote for our captains, we vote for 3 people, and we give an explanation why.
So the team, in my philosophy, I have the team heavily involved in who they believe a captain should be. Because they're the ones hanging out with the teammates outside the gym. I only see part in the gym, in the weight room, etc. on the court. Those ladies know who they can feel comfortable going to. I think a captain needs to be very open and willing to communicate one-on-one with a teammate. These ladies need to feel comfortable going to that person, and if they have an issue, I can feel like I can go to a captain. I look for a captain who is a strong student, okay, over a 3.3 GPA. I look for a captain who completely follows team rules all the time, like the integrity piece. Are they doing everything correct all the time? Because if a captain does something, breaks a rule, that makes it okay. Oh, it's okay, a captain's doing it, I can do it. So is that captain holding themselves accountable athletically, academically, and socially? Those are the 3 pieces I look for in a captain. Is a captain very organized? Can they rally the group and say, hey, we're lifting at this time, let's get it together? I have a lot of our captains actually right now, I can't be with the team right now, they've done an awesome job of scheduling workouts. They've done an awesome job, hey, are you guys up at 5:30 in the morning because we got to get to the weight room at 6. Hey, let's go to the movies together. Let's do something together. Right now the ladies are doing, rotating through the week, hanging out with each other one-on-one, going to lunch, going to dinner. Captains organize that. Captains are an extension of your coach. So when I am not around, the captains are quote unquote an extension of me. Are they upholding the expectations that I told you guys when I am not around? Okay, and there are times when there needs to be enforcing from a captain. And if the captain feels like, oh gosh, I really don't know how to handle this situation, something happened, that's when again, we have a good relationship, captain to coach. They come in and talk to me, hey, I really don't think this is appropriate. I don't know how to handle it. I need you as a coach. But sometimes I also tell our captains there are things that I don't need to know. I don't need to know petty, he said, she said stuff. As a captain, I want that person to go up to a person and say, hey, we're having a problem here. Can we sit down and talk about it? But sometimes a coach doesn't need to know everything, nor do I really want to know everything, unless it's a serious thing. So as a captain, being able to reinforce. As a captain, like I said, following every single rule. Are they being socially inappropriate? Another expectation, are you representing our team in a positive manner? So everywhere you go home for the summer, go on spring break, you are still representing our team, your teammates, and our culture. Are you upholding those standards to the best of your ability all of the time? Anything else you guys want to add about captains?
I mean, they're a big part of the team. We trust them, we have to trust them, and I mean, we look up to them, so like you said, if they do something that they shouldn't do, well then, what's us to think that we can't do the same thing? So, I mean, yeah, captains are really important, and they're big role models for us, especially incoming freshmen coming from high school to college. It's a huge change. So we look up to them for help a lot.
I know I'm running out of time. Does anybody have questions on anything? Ask the ladies any questions, advice? No?
You do have time to have fun too, guys. Like, it's not just the grind of sports. Have fun.
I have a balance.
Thank these guys for coming. I will excuse you guys.